Welcome to Side New with JW. This is Side New number 14, Fear. So what do we fear? Each one of us might have a laundry list of things that we fear in life, such as pain, someone's opinion, not living up to expectations, loss, all the way to heights. And for me personally, I fear sharks. It's one of those things. Now, because we have fears, we allow these fears to hold us back from accomplishing something that we might want to accomplish. So I use my fear of sharks. I am afraid of them, deathly, for good reason, because they'll kill you. And because I fear sharks, I fear going out too far into the ocean. I won't swim with them. First of all, I don't go out too far to swim alone, obviously, but then I definitely wouldn't go out far enough because I don't know if they're going to be there and then possibly eat me. So because of this fear of what a shark could do to me, it keeps me from swimming out too far into the ocean. So when I go to the ocean, I go to the beach and I hang out, with my friends or family. My toes, my ankles, maybe my kneecaps get a little wet. But I don't go out too far. I won't go out where my toes can't touch the ground anymore. I won't go out where there's a possibility of something large or small swimming up next to me and probably nibbling on my leg. That's not happening. So because of the fear I have for that, it holds me back from doing what I want to. I'd like to get in the ocean and not be afraid of anything. However, that's not the fact. The fact is I'm afraid of it, and because I am afraid of it, I allow it to control me. So although you might not necessarily fear sharks, you also might have fears that do the exact same thing to you. They control you, so therefore you're not able to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So let's use failing. You are afraid of failing on the decision that you originally made to get to success. And because you're afraid of the outcome, that fear holds you back from accomplishing what you should be accomplishing. Not only does it hold you back, but you never know because you don't even attempt to do whatever it is that you want to do because you're afraid of the outcome that you don't even know that might happen. Here's a fun fact though. Fear is all in our brains. And even though I know that I'm afraid of sharks and I should get over it, it's in my brain. And literally, because it's in my brain, it automatically triggers my fight or flight response. And because I don't want to be in that situation, I want to flee that situation. I'm not going to wrestle a shark. That ain't happening. All right? I don't know many people that have wrestled sharks and won, but I don't want to be the first guy to even attempt it. So because we have this fight or flight trigger inside of our brains, when we fear things, usually we flee. It's easier to flee than to go ahead and stand up and fight for whatever it is that you want to accomplish or whatever you want to do, because that fear holds you back and that fear triggers that fight or flight. So let's say that you want to become, a successful entrepreneur and you want to create a company and do great things with a company. But you're afraid of what could happen. You're afraid of the public opinion of it. You're afraid of the failure. You're afraid of, losing money on it. You're afraid of the opinions of others, the pain and sacrifice that you might have to put into being successful. You're afraid of the hard work and dedication that it might take to get there. So instead of even trying to accomplish what it is, you allow that fear to trigger that response and you flee instead of fighting for what it is that you want to accomplish. So how do we get past this fear of whatever we are afraid of? So let's look at a few different things. One, if we know it's just a mental block, how can we get past a mental block? I'll use the sharks again. So I can slowly progress into the water until I feel comfortable enough to go ahead and swim out of the water. But until I do that numerous times and realize that every time I get in the water, I might not even experience sharks. But if I don't do that, then I'm going to allow that fear to continue to control me. But I have to reprogram my brain So therefore, I know every time I get in the water, I'm okay. And I can swim out further, and I can swim out further until eventually I realize that there's nothing to be afraid out of it. There might be that one time that shark does come. However, I can't control that. But what I can control is the fear of even attempting to get into the water where there's the possibility of it. So the same thing. Let's say you're afraid to do something. You have to go ahead and reprogram your brain so you get comfortable with attempting to do that until eventually you succeed at doing that. Because if you don't get past that fear and you don't attempt to do things, you're going to allow that fear to control you for the rest of your life. And I know it might sound easy for me to say, you know what, you should get past your fears and you shouldn't be afraid of things, and fear is just a joke or it's just a word, etc. However, your brain actually gives you two choices. You either have the fight or the flight response. So every time you're afraid of something, you have a choice. So back to you, you have a choice. And you can decide to either continue to be afraid, or you can decide to go ahead and fight through that fear and conquer that fear. So therefore, it's not there. So it really is that easy. The next time you're afraid of something, why don't you go ahead and try to fight instead of flee? See what you get. You might get past it. And if not, try again. Until my next video, thanks for watching Decide and Do with JW. Number 14, fear.